Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're focusing on something absolutely critical to protecting your financial future in the state of Colorado. You know, when you hand over your personal or business financials to someone, you're placing an enormous amount of trust in their hands. But how do you know if that trust is actually warranted? Well, today, we're going to show you exactly how to verify a certified public accountant or CPA license right here in Colorado, so you can make the right choice with total confidence.
So let me ask you a quick question. Did you know that hiring an unlicensed CPA can actually lead to severe legal consequences? It is a startling reality. Using an unverified or fraudulent tax preparer can result in incredibly costly financial reporting errors, and honestly, even worse. If they aren't properly licensed, they have zero legal authority to represent you before the IRS if you happen to get audited. You could literally be left completely exposed with absolutely no liability protection.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, understanding CPA licensure in Colorado. Second, a step-by-step guide to verifying a license. Third, practical tips and red flags. And fourth, addressing common questions and concerns.
Let's jump into Section 1, Understanding CPA Licensure in Colorado.
A CPA license isn't just a piece of paper. It proves an accountant has met rigorous education, experience, and testing requirements. We're talking about things like completing 150 semester hours of higher education and passing the grueling uniform CPA examination. Here in Colorado, they're governed by DORA. That's the Department of Regulatory Agencies. Specifically, their Division of Professions and Occupations is the central watchdog regulating CPAs. They're totally dedicated to preserving marketplace integrity and, most importantly, protecting you from fraudulent representation.
Let's look at a real-world example of why this matters so much. Imagine a family living in the Cherry Creek neighborhood of Denver. They needed some pretty complex estate and gift tax guidance. But before handing over their highly sensitive financial data, they took just a minute to confirm their planner's CPA license online using cpaverify.org. Because they took that one simple, proactive step, they knew for an absolute fact their data was in the hands of a regulated, legally authorized professional. So the crucial point is this: failing to verify credentials leaves you open to massive risks. You might receive totally substandard financial services, which can quickly snowball into incredibly costly reporting errors. Furthermore, an unlicensed individual simply cannot represent you before the IRS. That means you are completely on your own during an audit, with potential exposure to serious civil and criminal liabilities. It's just not worth the risk, right?
All right, moving right along to Section 2, our step-by-step guide to verifying a CPA license.
You basically have two primary tools in your tool belt for verification. The DORA License Lookup portal is a state-level tool which makes it perfect for real-time verification of a single local Colorado practitioner or firm. On the flip side, you have cpaverify.org. This is a massive national database populated by official data from 55 different jurisdictions, so it's absolutely your best bet if you're doing broad background checks on multi-state firms or out-of-state practitioners.
Let's walk through the manual DORA process. The best part? It's completely free and requires zero login. First, you just visit the DORA online portal. Or, hey, if you don't have internet access, you can always call DORA directly. Second, you just enter the full legal name or the license number. And third, select the matching record to check their current license status. It is really that simple. Now let me give you a few actionable search tips to make finding those specific credentials fast and totally foolproof. If you aren't exactly sure how to spell the person's name, you can use a wildcard feature by just appending an asterisk to a partial name. So think like AL asterisk for Alan or Allen. Make sure to set your search filter specifically to accountancy. Also, keep an eye out for specific prefixes. ACC designates an individual CPA, while FRM designates a registered public accounting firm. And for those of you running larger businesses who might be doing mass hiring or enterprise-scale auditing, you should definitely look into the Colorado Information Marketplace, or CIM. This state initiative provides programmatic API endpoints and downloadable datasets that actually update nightly. This allows your HR or compliance teams to fully automate the tracking of professional licenses. It's a real game changer for big companies.
Okay, on to Section 3, Practical Tips and Red Flags. Now, what's really interesting here is decoding exactly what each bureaucratic license status means for your legal safety. If a license says active, you are good to go. They're fully renewed, completely compliant, and legally authorized to practice. Inactive means the practitioner voluntarily stepped back, but, and this is a big but, they are legally barred from practicing or IRS representation. And suspended or revoked,
Well, that means the license was invalidated due to disciplinary actions or severe ethical violations. You absolutely only want to work with an active status.
So, what are the major red flags you need to watch out for? First, exactly what we just mentioned, if they are listed as inactive or expired. Second, if you see any disciplinary history popping up on their profile, the DORA portal will flag those sanctions. And finally, be super wary of individuals operating under vague titles, things like tax consultant or financial advisor, without explicit CPA credentials. This is especially true in bustling small business economies like Denver, where unlicensed preparers frequently set up shop.
As a best practice, you should always cross-reference the license number, the expiration date, and that critical active standing with whatever the professional is actually claiming on their website or during your meetings. It's a really good idea to just save a screenshot of this verification in a secure cloud folder or a compliance app for your own records. Just remember, an active status is entirely non-negotiable for IRS representation.
Let's wrap things up with Section 4, addressing common questions and concerns.
A very common question we see is, what if the CPA you want to hire is licensed in a different state? Do they need a completely separate Colorado license to actually help you?
Well, the answer lies in a rule known as SB 26.076. Under this legislation, out-of-state CPAs actually have practice privileges right here in Colorado without needing to obtain a separate Colorado certificate. As long as their home state license is current, valid, and substantially equivalent to Colorado's requirements, meaning they pass the uniform CPA exam and have a baccalaureate degree, they are good to go. So rest assured, qualified out-of-state CPAs are legally authorized to assist you here.
Another great question is about frequency. How often should you actually verify your CPA's credentials? Is checking just once at the beginning of the relationship enough?
To ensure ongoing compliance and safety, you definitely want to check more than once. Colorado has this very specific kind of quirky government rule. All CPA licenses expire on November 30th of odd-numbered years. So, a really great best practice is to just re-verify your accountant shortly after that odd-year November 30th deadline, just to ensure they successfully renewed and didn't accidentally lapse into an expired status.
That brings us to our conclusion and call to action.
To quickly summarize our core takeaways today, unlicensed CPAs carry severe legal and financial risks for you. Always use the DORI portal for local Colorado checks and CPAverified.org for national background checks. Make absolutely certain you confirm an active status before sharing any of your financial data. And always watch out for red flags like vague job titles and expired licenses. Verification is a vital, necessary safeguard for your business and personal finances. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Checking a license is completely free and literally takes less than 2 minutes. Will you take those 2 minutes today to verify your accountant's license and secure your financial future? Seriously, don't leave your personal or business finances to chance. If you found this explainer helpful, please hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe for more in-depth guidance on navigating your financial and regulatory needs. Finally, please just note this brief disclaimer. This explainer is intended for informational purposes only and is absolutely not a substitute for professional legal or financial advice. Always consult with qualified professionals regarding your specific situation. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next explainer.